This video tutorial describes the process of changing a user's name on the display of an existing phone. This procedure applies when a user has a name change or when a phone is being reassigned to a different user. We recommend this procedure when the user ID does not reference the user's name because the user ID itself is not modifiable. If the user ID does reference the user's name, then our recommendation is to delete and rebuild the user, rather than following this procedure, which modifies the existing user. I'll explain where the user ID appears as I take you through this procedure, in case you're not familiar. To perform a name change from the main OpEasy page, navigate to Provisioning, Users, and to the Enterprise and Group where the user exists. Click the Search button, and the users for this group will appear in the list. On a system where many users exist, you can narrow the search by using the search criteria. I'll show you an example. Now I find the user on the list that needs the name change. In this case, Alice is the user that I want to change. Note that one of the columns in this list is the user ID. Look at the entry for user Alice and note that the user ID in this case is composed of the user's phone number at the domain. Other common user ID naming conventions use the first name dot last name or the user's email address rather than the phone number. Because this user ID does not reference the original user's name or email, it's appropriate to continue on with our modifications. Click the Edit button for the targeted user and the User Modify page appears. On this screen, there are 3 areas that may need to be reviewed and possibly revised. First, under the ClearSpan User section is the last name, first name. These are the fields that control what's displayed on the phone. I want to change this user to Lindsay Smith, so I make the adjustments. Second is the email address. Assuming this field shows the original user's email address, update the field to reflect the new user's address. At some sites, email addresses are not used or are not available, so this field may be blank by choice. Third, in the Details section of the user screen, under the Calling Party ID section, are the last name and first name fields for the calling line ID. The calling line ID controls what caller ID information is delivered to a device that this user calls. Update these fields also to reflect the user's name. Now go back to the screen, scroll to the top, and click the Apply button because we've looked at the 3 areas that we need to address. The phone's configuration file will be updated as a result of these user changes, and a phone reboot will push the new configuration to the phone. One method to reboot the phone is to go to the Phones tab. For this user, select the phone that you wish to restart. In this case, this user has just one phone. And then click the Restart Selected Phones button. You see an indication at the top that the restart has completed, but if you look at the actual phone after the restart has occurred, you should see reference to the new name on the display screen. I'm finished with my name change, so I simply close this window.